I know you can relate to the feeling of walking away from a conversation or an interaction or even a meeting and just knowing and thinking in your head, why did I say that? I wish I could have that 5 minutes back and say it differently. Why wasn't I doing this? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? Everybody has had a situation where they walked away from the interaction wishing that they can do something differently in how they communicate. And if anybody says that they've never had one, they're lying to you. The best thing you can do for you to ensure that no matter what presentation, meeting, interaction, or conversation you had, you walk away with confidence is to master your unique style of communication. Because that way, when you leave that interaction, you're confident, I said what I needed to say, how I wanted to say it. Here are 3 tips to mastering your unique form of communication that'll help you in any type of interaction. Tip number 1 in helping you with your communication is to avoid clutter words. I know, you've heard this 1,000 times. You don't want to say likes, you don't want to say ums, you don't want to use those filler words in your presentation or in your conversation. How do you get rid of them, and how do you practice keeping them away? The best way to get rid of clutter words is to pause. Just pause. People think that pausing is a form of cluttering your sentence up, or that people won't listen to you because you paused, or people are going to interrupt you. No, you're just making that up in your head. Believe me, the pause is actually going to be more impactful to what you're trying to say than trying to fill up your dead space with words like, Those words actually lower you more than you think, because now people are wondering if you're confident in what you're trying to say. Many times that people use likes, ums, or uhs is because they're trying to think about what to say next. In order to have the time to think, they use these filler words to bridge the gap in order for it to feel like they didn't have to pause to think. When in reality, the more effective communication would be to pause, because it not only allows you to get a moment to think about what you want to say next, but allows your audience to process what you've already said and live in anticipation for what you say next. Using pauses is a bit of a skill that you have to develop, but it's a much more effective way to ensure that your message gets delivered how you want it to be delivered versus the lack of confidence that comes with likes, ums, and uhs. The best thing about pausing is that pausing in your conversations helps your communications pacing. So now, instead of being a rapid fire person, you can use these pauses to give breaks in your communication, and it really allows people to connect and process what you're saying, so that way what you're saying becomes a lot clearer to them, and you take the time to process exactly what they had said to you. Don't assume that pausing means period. It's all about how you deliver your pause and how you're intentional about what you're saying to ensure that that pause is used correctly. Embrace the pause, use the pause, master pause. The second tip for helping your communication is going to be body language. Now, body language is a part of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is a very deep dive in itself, but easy things for you to focus on would be eyes, mouth, hands, and body. When you're communicating with somebody or giving a presentation, you want to ensure that you have access to using all of these things, so that way you can maximize your nonverbal communication to amplify your verbal communication. Hands up, hands open, hands out. Seems like receptive, seems giving, and it seems like ready to receive. Closed off, hands folded, body adjacent, body away, no eye contact. Body language like this seems a bit standoffish, seems a lot less trustworthy, and it seems like you're not even really interested in whatever you're doing. Think about it. If I was doing this whole video like this, so to improve your communication, you just gotta make sure that, you gotta do the things. And if you do your communications, if I was doing the whole video like that, you wouldn't even want to listen to what I'm saying. So imagine being in person and you're standing closed off, not making eye contact, you're looking away, your body just looks tight. The best way to utilize your nonverbal communication is to try to match your body with the mood and the vibe of what you're trying to say is. So if you're feeling good and you're asking questions, you should be open to receiving, hands out, body open. If you're trying to present something, you should use your hands as a visual indicator that you're telling a story, that you're giving information, or that you're telling something to somebody and presenting that. Another thing is eye contact. Eye contact allows for people to really get locked in with what you're saying. You want to balance eye contact with looking away a little bit, but also remember to connect with that person. Eye contact tends to scare people away because they get a little bit nervous when it comes to eye contact. Me personally, I used to hate making too much eye contact. I always figured I have to find balance between, okay, I'll make eye contact, then I'll look away, then I'll make eye contact back. Until I learned that eye contact really just is the best way to show somebody I'm listening. And if you're the one delivering the information and you make eye contact, it makes them feel like, hey, I'm talking to you and I really want you to receive what I'm saying. There's no malice with eye contact. And for whatever reason, when it comes to excessive eye contact, our minds race to anxiety for the fear of being perceived, when in reality, that's the best way to connect with people. Make that eye contact, embrace that eye contact, and practice first by making eye contact with yourself. So something that helped me with my eye contact and communication was going into the bathroom mirror and having conversations with myself and locking in on that eye contact. Think about it. If you can't make eye contact with the person in the mirror and lock in and enjoy that eye contact, what makes you think that you'll embrace making eye contact with anybody else? You can't even make eye contact with yourself. So practice your eye contact, your body language in the mirror by learning how that body language is a reflection of you and mastering what your reflection of self is. Another tip is gonna be the smile. A lot of people don't really realize that they have what some people call RBF. I'll let you figure out what that stands for. You wanna make sure that you have a genuine smile that reflects the mood that you're in when you're in the middle of a conversation or when you're presenting. People tend to not show any emotion. People want to be stoic. People want to be cool. People want to do all these different things. But a simple smile is something that's going to not only disarm people and understand that you're not trying to be a threat, but it also brings an air of levity to the communication that you're bringing in, shows that you're human, and it makes other people smile too. Haven't you heard the saying, smiling is contagious? We love the smiles and we need more of them. Let's brighten up the world one smile at a time. Y'all heard the Chip Skylark song? My shiny teeth and me, my shiny teeth that sparkle, just like the morning shiny teeth. When I bring up smiling, it's important to pair smiling in with the last tip, and that's your intentionality when you're communicating with somebody. Communication is extremely vague. It's how you listen, it's how you present, it's how you converse, it's how you come off, it's nonverbal, it's verbal, it's pretty much everything under the sun that involves two people. You need to understand your clear intention. Now, I'm a member of Toastmasters, and the Toastmasters are essentially a group of people that practice the art of public speaking. In Toastmasters, they teach us that there's 4 distinct purposes in your communication, that under these 4 things, if you pick one, it's a lot easier to develop the speech, presentation, conversation, or communication that you intend to go through. Now, those 4 purposes of communication are to inspire, to persuade, to inform, to entertain, and I personally would add the 5th one, to converse. When it comes to entertaining, that could be you telling a story to a group of friends, that could be you giving a public speech, that could be you doing a public presentation, that could be anything where your goal would be to have people smile, laugh, or receive what you're saying and lead to happiness. When it comes to informing, that's something like giving a presentation at work, showing off a PowerPoint, or making sure that whoever you're speaking to leaves with new information. When it comes to persuade, that could be something like sales and marketing. That could be you trying to explain to somebody why your product or why your services are going to help them with whatever they have going on. And when it comes to inspiring, your goal is to be motivational, kind of like when you see a commencement speaker or you have somebody come in for work as a keynote speaker at your office. And that 5th one, to converse, that one's a little bit more vague and open, because to converse, that could be any interaction that you have with somebody. Whether it's meeting a girl or a guy, whether it's going to meet somebody new on the elevator, whether it's making small talk at the water cooler. To converse has many open-ended meanings, but it is a mix of all those others. So if you can figure out what your intention is through conversing, you can still use all the other tips, like making sure you don't use clutter words and making sure you use your correct body language while trying to converse. So that way, as you converse, you can figure out which next purpose out of those other 4 you want to lead the conversation or the interaction to. These 3 tips aren't going to make you a master of communication tomorrow, but they are good tips that will help you think about what you want to say, how you want to say it, and make sure you say what you want to say much clearer. The better you can communicate what you want to communicate, and the better you can receive somebody else's communication through word choice, through body language, and through understanding your intentionality, I mean, the world is limitless from there. Communication is probably the #1 skill that you never, ever stop being a student of. Just look at what we're doing now. Everybody's had some form of a situation where they wish they could take back what they said, rephrase what they said, say less than what they said, or said more than what they said. And that's just normal human nature. The best way to avoid putting yourself in more of these situations is to master how you want to communicate with people. No matter what walk of life you're in, you're always going to have to learn to better communicate with the people that you engage with around you. Even if that communication is strictly with yourself, learning how to better communicate is one of the most invaluable skills you can learn to better yourself as a person. Hey, my name is Laurent, but I go by the name of Apex, and here I want to help you master your unique form of communication through giving you tips, stories, and my own experiences that have helped me get better at communicating and getting you into different rooms to tell your story, collaborate with more people, and better your communication and connectivity. Follow me, like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you want to hear next. You know we got more coming. You know we do this for real, and you know what this is. YouTube, what it do. My outros are getting better. Hootie hoo.